Hey, everybody, Rich Groves here. I want to welcome you to another episode of our Get to Know the Speaker series here for Gateway to Freedom. Gateway to Freedom is the real estate investing real estate investing conference coming to St. Louis. First time ever. It is going to be groundbreaking because nothing like this has ever come to St. Louis. No 2-day conference with 17 incredible, successful speakers coming to pour into the community that comes together in that banquet room at the Aviator Hotel and Suites in South County, St. Louis. It's going to be November 4th and 5th. If you are interested in getting tickets or you want to see the speaker lineup or the topic lineup we have, go to www.g2free.com. That's www.g2free.com. Our speaker today, this is the anomaly, folks. This is the anomaly. All the time I've been advertising this, and I've been doing the barnstorming tour with my co-host Josh. We've been going around to all of the RIAs in the area. We've been talking about how this conference is unique in that 16 of the 17 speakers we have on tap are actually in St. Louis, from St. Louis, doing business in St. Louis. So they're actually St. Louis local experts. Not that that's all the people that have to come to this conference is from St. Louis, but I'm just saying we've been touting that because it's true. We didn't have to really go outside our own backyard. And then a friend of mine, TJ Cremeans, contacts me and says, "Hey, I'd love to speak at your conference." And it fit a perfect niche, it fit a perfect spot we had available. So we brought TJ in. TJ is the 1 out of 17 who is not from the St. Louis market. And TJ's specialty is multifamily investing. And I've known TJ for a little over a year now, or about a year now, I guess. And phenomenal guy, great person, hardworking, full of integrity. And I love hearing from him and his successes. But let me tell you a little bit about TJ before I hand it over to him and introduce you to him completely. Is that TJ, the one thing that stands out to me is that TJ acknowledges when he first got into real estate investing, it wasn't perfect. Right. He made mistakes along the way. And there are other real estate investors out there that will tell you, yeah, I made some mistakes along the way. And they even share that so they can, show you what not to do. Right. Or tell you what not to do. So TJ admits, hey, I made mistakes along the way. Things weren't perfect. But when he shifted focus into real estate into multifamily real estate investing, he just blew it out of the water. He had a 50 unit goal his first year, and he got over 230 units. I think like 232 or something like that. His first year, blew his goals out of the water. And from that point on, TJ's focus has really just been multifamily investing and helping spread the word about multifamily investing and getting people on board with doing it and doing it right. So we brought him in as our guest speaker for multifamily investing. So let me introduce everybody to TJ Cremeans. TJ, what's going on, buddy? How are you today?
Bro, what's happening? Hey, thanks for that little intro. That's well over my pay grade of deserving. So that's awesome. Appreciate it, man.
No, not at all. You're welcome, buddy. Absolutely. I mean every bit of it, and I that's one thing
Appreciate
about
that.
me is I'm just going to shoot it straight and say it how it is. Tell you how it is, and that's great. That you, I mean, honestly, I can go on about how awesome it was to have you reach out and say you wanted to help out and present here at this conference. And but why don't you tell everybody in your own words, tell us a little bit about you, because this is Get to Know the Speaker. So let us get to know you a little bit, TJ.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. So first, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. It'll be a fun little opportunity. Candidly, I'm gonna tell you this: I'm a Cubs fan and a Cubs season ticket holder, and Game 7 of the World Series will be on the 3rd. So if they go to Game 7 and if they happen to win, I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in real hot. So just FYI. No, so my name is TJ Cremeans. I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm about halfway in between Kalamazoo or halfway in Kalamazoo. I live in Kalamazoo, halfway between Chicago and Detroit. And I'm married a little over 10 years, 2 kids, 7 and 4, awesome little boys. I've been in real estate now for about 9 years. I started off in title insurance, which is this, obviously everyone who's done a transaction knows the title insurance. I was the guy that was out there trying to find you. Like I was trying to find you and get your deals to direct them to me, so that I brought in business to the title company. And when I joined, I knew nothing about real estate. Literally, the only thing I was ever told about real estate was it's a bad investment. Don't do it. Oh 07, oh 08, oh 09, terrible. Don't do it. Stay away. And so I did. I joined a company, a title company, the largest title company in the country in Chicago. And I found out very quickly that everybody knew everybody within these markets. And it was really strange because I thought it was going to take me every bit of 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get established, and really, like they threw me to the wolves, and they basically said, "Go out and get business." I was like, "I don't even know what I'm selling. I have no idea what this is, right? Like, I don't know." So I didn't even know what title insurance was. So I got going in title insurance. I had a couple of really good clients, learned a lot from them. Over the 2.5, almost 3 years that I was there, I did almost $3 billion worth of transactions, and I learned a ton. And I got to learn a ton through other people's money, right? So I was watching from conception to to close of how a deal was structured, how it was financed, how it was what everything. And I was like, man, this is fun. Like, this is really neat. On top of the fact that I could go to Cubs games every day, and I got to wine and dine and all of that. That was fun. But the thing that really stuck out to me was it wasn't a bad investment. Like everybody was in this, and some people make bad investments and they make bad choices within those investments. But like real estate is the best investment, and so I got into that. And what ended up happening was I had a really pivotal moment in my sort of corporate career. Was my boss came up to me, or one of my bosses, I guess, not my direct boss, but one of my bosses. And he pulled me in one day and he said, "Hey, you need to get out of this rat race. This is not what you're meant to do. You shouldn't be in corporate America." And he's like, "Find and do something bigger for yourself." And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. My boss is telling me to leave. Um, but what ended up happening was 2 weeks later, he passed away. He knew that he was sick. He didn't tell anybody, but that was huge because he was a big mentor of mine. He got me into that. I saw him every day. Always was greeted, like I was always greeted with a hug, like a fist bump, like, "Hey buddy, how you doing?" He always came out to lunches with me on these meetings, and just really, really amazing dude. And it really just, I said, you know what? I promised him. I made this promise. I'm going to try to figure this all out. So I went into like property management, project management, brokerage, and I did all these things to try to like learn essentially on other people's dime. And in the process of that, I said, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm jumping in. So I bought into, or got into rather, a networking community that is widely known out there, and started flipping homes. Right, and it was fun and it was sexy, and like I tell this joke, not on a joke, but tell this story all the time. Like my wife thinks she's Joanna Gaines, and I think I'd be a really good friend of Chip Gaines. Like I think I'd get along with him really well. So it was fun, man. It was exciting. It was a good time. And then I realized that though I am 100% okay with doing the hard work and doing work, like that's my work ethic is not the issue. I did not enjoy flipping houses. I didn't. And every time I flipped a house, I bought a property. So I bought a single family, and then I bought a duplex, and then I bought a fourplex. And I was like, this is fun. I like this mailbox money, right? And then I just, as you had previously mentioned, I went to a conference and I looked, and this is probably a really good segue into why these conferences are so great, right? Is I went to this conference and I felt like this guy was talking directly to me. There was 100 some people in the room, right? For this one little, and it was like breakout sessions, but this one room was about multifamily investing. And something that hit me, and something that was very, just it felt like I said, it felt like I was just directly connected to. It was like, get into multifamily, dude. Like you can do this. I raised a little over, almost about 2 million for my flips. And they were high end flips. I was like pop top. I was buying 700, 800, 900 square foot homes, turning them to like 3,000 plus square foot homes. We were doing a lot of work. And I said, man, if I can raise 1 million, but I can make money every month, that's something. What if I raised 2 million? What if I raised 3 million? Like, how does this, what does this look like? And I had a mentor, essentially say, like, who's now a business partner of mine, and he's a real estate attorney. He said, like, dude, like, it's called syndication. Get into this, raise money, do it the right way, meet good people, and kind of go from there. So we did. I set a goal to buy 50 units and bought 232 in the midst of COVID. It was interesting. So again, trial by fire in the midst of learning, right? So I got into COVID. We bought that. We grew to 300, 400, 500 units. And I want to be very clear here. The amount of units is not important. It really genuinely, like, I cannot stress that enough. It doesn't matter if you own 5, 10, 20, or thousands of units. It's really like the efficiency in which you run these and how successful you can make all of them, and also like your bandwidth to do so. Right? If it's you don't want 500 units. I promise you, you don't. If you have a team that you're building up, you can. So I got into multifamily, fell in love with it, fell in love with the idea of, I can still have a fix and flip component to it. I can still make a home, make these places a better place for someone to live, but I can make money every month and I don't have to do it over and over again. And I just took off, man. I went out there, and one of our main contributors of capital is, we deal with high net wealth individuals, but I deal a lot with professional athletes. So we've got a lot of professional athletes that are investors. It's a fun, it's exciting. It's new every day. If you're self-managing, you're going to get calls about, I had a lady tell me that I had, she needed me to exercise. No, how did she put that? She goes, I need to get rid of the ghost in her place. Well, I was having a bad day. I was having a terrible day. So I said, well, do you have Dan Aykroyd's number, Bill Murray's number? I don't know. What do you want me to do? What, you ghost in your apartment? Like, what are you talking about?
Who are you going to
And
call?
it ended up being, yeah, like, who are you going to call? Like, it's not me. Like, I'm scared to death of ghosts. Like, you're not calling me. And so I realized at that point, it was like, nope, paying someone to manage my places. I don't need that phone call ever again. So we started to grow, and we did really well. And as you mentioned, I'm a firm believer in, like, a lot of people talk about real estate, but it's always in this like rainbows and butterflies, right? It's always through rose-colored glasses, and look at what we've done. And that's great, and people learn a lot from that. But what people learn a lot more from is like the failures. And so I like talking about where I mean, pardon my French here. I like talking about how I got my ass kicked. And I got my ass kicked, man. It's a real life game of Monopoly, right? It's a real life game of Monopoly, and you play it right, you do it right, and you have the right people, right team in place. This is a really fun avenue. Commercial real estate is its own little beast. Multifamily within that is its own little beast, but it's fun, man. I love what we do. It gives me time to kind of get away or be with my family when I need to, want to. Gives me the opportunities to really go and see and do a lot of things that I never was able to do in corporate America and tied down. So yeah,
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a great story. I like that story. It really is. It's and that whole part about going to the conference, and it felt like the person was speaking directly to you. That's icing on the cake, because that's awesome. That's a huge, when you need to hear something and you're in the place and you hear it, it does resonate with you. It does feel like the person's talking directly to you, because that's what you needed to hear when you were there.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome, man. So what would you, let me ask you two questions. They're going to be kind of like flip. Okay. They're going to be both sides of the coin here. And I've been asking everybody these questions, but what would you say has been your proudest moment as a real estate investor?
My proudest moment as a real estate investor. My proudest moment as a real estate investor was when I became financially free from the hard work that we put in. And I feel like people get financially free mixed up sometimes, and everyone has their own interpretation for it. But let me just explain mine. It was when I didn't have to worry. All my expenses, all my bills, all of my everything was paid for without me having to continue to do work. And I did so in a time frame that was exponentially quicker than I thought, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, because I got punched in the face a couple of times and got my butt kicked a couple of times because of that. Still coming out of that, but it also allowed me to be where I'm at right now. Allowed me to let allowed me to kind of let my hair down and not let my hair down. I've got, I mean, come on. Let my hair down a little bit. No, but it let me, afford my wife the opportunity to quit her job, stay at home and raise our boys, and do these things that are what everyone dreams of doing, or most people dream of doing, right? So that was a really proud moment of mine. You know, Financial freedom it was something that was the goal, and it was a maybe a 5-7 year goal that happened in little over 2 years. So
That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome. And that actually was going to be my ending question, was like, define freedom. But you did a great job there, man. That was phenomenal. So on the flip side of that, though, on the
yeah,
flip
yeah,
side of that, everybody, like you even admit yourself, you weren't perfect when you got started. But what would you
yeah, bro.
say has been your biggest lesson learned in the real estate investment space?
Double, triple check, quadruple check. No, it's building the right team. Is what the biggest lesson learned was. Is I've had really good partners, I've had really bad partners, I've had partners. And for me, what I say this all the time, I could do this on my own. I know I'm 100% certain I could do it on my own. I don't enjoy doing things alone though. I really like having partners. I really like having people to work with. And so, building the right team was wildly important, because it took the stressors out of my day that I would have to be dealing with just exclusively myself, and it allowed me to focus on the things that I'm good at, right? The things that it's important that work gets done, but it allowed me to do the things I loved in this job, because there are things I hate. I don't enjoy every single aspect of this multifamily, or just investing in general,
Mhm.
but it allowed me to find the right people that did love those things that I was deficient in, that I lacked in experience in, or knowledge, or desire in, rather.
Yeah.
And so it allowed me to really kind of go from there. So building the team was huge, and I'm talking more than just your broker and your property manager. I'm talking your attorney. I'm talking your CPA. I'm talking direct business partners, joint venture partners. I'm talking investors, right? They're part of your damn team, right? And a bad investor is not someone you want to get involved with. And on the flip side of that, even a good investor is worth the weight in gold, right? Like, if you're on the same page and understand each other. So um, it's building that team is huge, man, and there's a lot that goes into that. But if you can do it successfully, you're going to see exponential growth internally and externally for your business.
Heck yeah. 100% agree with that. I really do. That's so key, so crucial, and it's part of the reason why everybody is like, I can't find a good contractor. I mean, that's part of your team. That's not all of it,
Yeah,
but
for
there's
sure.
other things like, I can't find a good this, or I can't find a good that. It's not always just the contractor. So you got to
Yeah.
find. Yeah, you got. I agree 100% with you on that. That is yeah, really big time. So I know I didn't like pre warn you about this question at all, but what what makes a multifamily a good deal?
That's
You
that's
got
a
time?
loaded question. Yeah,
Okay,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
right. Yeah, that's a loaded question. For me, what makes I feel like there's not just a set answer, right? Because some
yeah,
people are like, "Oh, I buy on cap rate, or I buy on number of units, or and it's all relevant, right? It all matters in the deal. But for me, for what makes a good deal is where I'm at in my cycle with regards to, do I need more cash? Am I looking to have more cash to do that, or do I want more cash flow? And so there's a little bit that goes there. But what makes a good real estate deal for me is one um, that I'm going to be able to provide value. That is, it's clear and obvious value that I can have, aesthetically, financially. Like, we can add that value to the property, because it's unlike a residential deal where I'm going to buy a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath home that is 2,500 square feet, whatever it happens to be. Appraiser's going to come through and go, well, here's one here, and here's one here, and here's one here, and it's sold for this, and this is the value of your house, and that's what it is, right? I have more control over what the value of my property is, in commercial and in multifamily. So what makes a good deal for me is I have a thing that I've kind of coined, that it's my oh, pardon me. my risk threshold. So I look at like what is my liability on the deal. So is there a guarantee that I have on the deal, meaning the note? Is it a non-recourse loan where I don't have a guarantee on it? Because that changes the metrics of my deal a little bit. It also I put that against how much I'm projected to make against that liability, right? Would I be happy with that return with that risk that I'm putting in? So I look at it from an investor standpoint is, okay, if I'm putting $100,000 into a deal and I'm only going to make 4%, like that's not good money, right? Like we can do better. And so I need to take a look for that also, because if I have a guarantee or I have a risk in the deal, I want the risk to be worth the reward, and or the reward worth the risk, whatever it happens, however you want to look at it. So I look at it from that aspect. And the other thing that I look at in a good deal is realistically, not optimistically, but realistically, how quickly can I get out of this deal, right? How quickly can we turn and burn and rinse and repeat if we choose to do that? Or how long can we get that investor money back so that I can position myself in a better place in that deal? Because the way I do deals, it's not like revolutionary. It's not something I came up with, but I do it a little differently through my syndication. So the moment that I give all my investors money back, I actually make a higher return than the investors do, because they're infinitely in the deal. In perpetuity, my investors will be in the deal until I sell the deal. So even when I give them their money back, normally you're out of a deal, right? Like, hey, Rich, thanks for investing. Here's 100K that your 100K back. Here's the interest that you made from all that. See you later. Now I own it all. Well, I don't do that. I keep everyone in the deal. I keep them in for life. And so I also have to look at it from a fiduciary standpoint. How can I maximize the returns for my investors, and how quickly can I get that money back to them?
So. Okay. No, that's good, because it is a little different than some other people do it. Some people might do it that way, some people might not, but that's
for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so there might be people on the fence, right? People watching either live or on the replay that might be like, oh, you know what? I've been doing this 20 something years. I know everything there is to know. Or there might be somebody who's brand new, like they just thought they want to get into real estate investing. They're like, wow, I don't want to be overwhelmed. There's 17 speakers there, man. I don't know. I'm not going to know what to think. And then there's people obviously in the middle, but they might be on the fence about getting a ticket to a conference. What's the benefit to going to a conference like this?
There's so many. For one, it's all going to be on what you're expecting or looking to get out of that conference, right? I was, when you're new to getting in, and let's just speak on the novice level, when you're new to getting into real estate or looking to get into real estate, it's incredibly overwhelming. Even if you're incredibly extroverted and network really well, it's very overwhelming, because you don't know really what path you want to go down most of the time. And if you do, I would then say be hyper focused on learning about that, and not get sidetracked with the other things that are in there. That's not to say that wholesaling or fix and flip or Airbnb or any of these other investment tools are not good, that aren't going to allow you to be successful, but it might not be your passion. If it's not your passion, you're really not going to put that work that's necessary to go into it, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, like, be ready to be uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because when you go to these events, you never freaking know who's sitting right next to you. You have never really know. And most of the time people will sit down and just go like, hi, I'm Rich. And I'll be like, hey, how you doing, Rich? And then stop. Well, learn from these people, because every single investor, whether they're up here or down here, started the same spot, right? They had to start learning. They had to go to these events, or maybe they didn't have to go to the events, but they learned from somebody. They talked to somebody. They worked with somebody. That's no different. Like, you're going to these events to learn, to accelerate their growth. And if you go in there with the idea that it's like, hopefully I'll learn something, you're not going to get anything out. You're not going to get what you want out of it, because you weren't expecting, much. So something that I like to do when I go to these conferences is maybe I pick one or two or three topics that I really am focused on learning about, and I make it my absolute mission to talk with that speaker, to learn from those people, to surround myself with those people that are doing that, and ask questions. Everyone likes to talk about themselves. Everyone likes to talk about yourselves. Ask the damn question. Ask a question. So where'd you get started? How do you do it? What would you do in this scenario? Or this happened to me. How would you have handled it? Right? ask the damn questions. And I think that when you go to these events and you see the speakers, I know for me, something that when I first started going to these events, I was like, I'll never be up there. I'll never do that. And not to say that you have to strive to get there, or maybe that's something you have no desire to do. But for me, what was really important was that exact moment, that conference that I went to, where I felt like someone was talking directly to me, right? That exact moment, I also knew that I wanted to do that for other people. I wanted to be that person, even if it's one person. I wanted to be that one that help that one person get to their goals, because financial freedom, when I first started, seemed like it was a daunting, and it was going to be an impossible task. And if done right, when done right, it's I cannot tell you the amount of stress and anxiety that just was like off my shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So go into these events with an idea, with a purpose, meet these people, do what you say what you do, go out there and have these conversations with these people that are like-minded. Everyone's there for the same purpose. So learn about them, learn how you can be of value to them, learn how they can be of value to you, build your team within these conferences, and hopefully, you walk away learning something, and, with some connections that are going to help you, year or 2 years from now, get your first deal, your 100th deal, your biggest deal, whatever it happens to be. But go out there and execute, because you're going to have to learn. You got to start somewhere, and why not start with a bunch of people in your backyard that, you can always fall back on and work with. So.
Sure. No, that's understandable, and I think that's great. That's great advice. I love that answer. I do. All right. One last question. I know I'm running out of time here. I want to ask one last question. Is we found out a little bit about TJ today. We found out about your background. We found out about your family and your little boys, your wife, and where you're from and all of that. But let me dig in a little more, find out a little more about TJ. So outside of real estate investing, what's your biggest passion?
Probably not an answer that everyone's going to relate with. But I recently have gotten really big into golf. I love golf. It's a huge, like, it's when I'm pissed off, I can take it out on something. When I'm having a good time, I can have even a better time. Or I'm having a good time and I instantly go into having a bad time. It changes also, right? But what I really like, and I think it relates to business a lot, the game of golf, is that even though it's it might be 4 hours long, right? Like you're golfing 18 and whatever. But it's really these, like, anywhere from, if you're a friggin' really good golfer, 70 shots up to, 100 plus shots, right? But it's those moments, those quick 4, 5, 6, 10 seconds where it is utter just focus and concentration on one task, right? And these little micro tasks to do. And I love that aspect of the game. I love that you can see, like, growth immediately. You can see, your scores go down, right? And I just, a lot of business is done on the golf course too. So I feel like, I can mix business with pleasure, and I can go out there. And when my wife's like, "Hey, what are you doing today?" I say, "I'm golfing." I can instantly go, "But it's for work, right? Like I'm working, right?" So it makes me feel a little bit damn better too, that I can get out and I can do that. But golf is huge. And I love coaching. I like coaching. I used to coach youth soccer. I'm coaching. We'll call it loosely coaching. It's my 4-year-old's t-ball team. That's a horse of a different color there, but and then coaching real estate too. I love what we do, and I love being able to help other people out. So that's become a big passion of mine as well. So it's fun, man. Here we are.
Awesome. Yeah, we wanted to know more about TJ. Who is TJ?
There we go, bro.
So how can people find you? Like, if they wanted to find you, and they're like, this TJ guy looks pretty cool. He seems pretty cool. I mean, I want to connect with him. How do people connect with you?
Yeah. So, social media, I'm on, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, getting a YouTube channel going. And then, I mean, I get slack for this all the time, but I'm just going to shoot it out there. My personal cell phone is 269-377-6232. That's not a VoIP number. It is not a text now number. That's my personal cell phone, Verizon cell phone. reach out. Tell me that you saw, where you saw me, where you heard me, whatever it happens to be. And I think, you reach out, shoot me a text, and I'm happy to schedule an opportunity to chat with you, whether it's to learn something, to ask a question, to teach, whatever it happens to be. If I don't know the answer, I'm not too proud to go out there and find it. But yeah, reach out. I love connecting with people, and the more the merrier. And if you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan, just know that you're gonna hear from me down the road. It's just gonna happen. So it's all good.
Oh,
Just
right?
get ready for it. I'm just gonna I'll be honest with you. Let's just be honest with you.
I guess that was the thing. Is like everybody's gonna rip me saying, "Oh, the one guy from out of town you got to bring in." Cubs fan.
Cubs fan, right? Lifelong Cubs fan,
Yankees
man.
fan or something. But
lifelong Cubs fan. I got the phone call for season tickets a couple years ago, and quick funny story. Season tickets go. It's interesting. So they have it's like, hey, you're called for season tickets, and there's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and if all the available tickets are gone Thursday, Friday and Saturday, Sunday don't happen.
Wow.
So I get a phone call, or I get my email saying, hey, you've got season tickets. You can apply, and this is your year, and if you choose to pass, you'll just go back on the list or whatever. Okay. Well, I get a phone call from my uncle, and my uncle goes, hey, I got an email, season tickets, are you in? I said, yeah, man, what day is yours? He goes, Sunday. I said, I got Thursday. And he goes, I guess I'll buy them with you then. so there's 4 of us that went in. We bought tickets, and we only make it to a couple games a year, but it's so fun. It's exciting, and I probably will never get rid of those. And if you ever want to make it to Chicago and watch a Cardinals game, it's on me, my man.
There you go. That sounds good.
There you go.
Oh man. Well, hey TJ, thanks for coming today, man. Thanks for being a part of this conference and pouring into this community. And thank you for your time today. And it means a lot, and I'm extremely grateful. You have no idea. So thanks so much, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people watching this over, and people get excited to know even more about TJ when the conference comes around. So thanks so much. Oh, and also anybody out there, if you're buying tickets and you want an extra $50 off your ticket, put in the code at checkout, put in the coupon code TJ, and you'll get an extra $50 off. So, and we just announced, we just announced, check your email if you haven't gotten it yet, if you didn't see it, but we're actually running a contest with all the speakers that the speaker that can get the most sales using their coupon code is going to get this mystery prize package at the conference. So we're going to give them like this swag bag of stuff or swag, thing. And then we're going to have an actual physical award of some type. We already know what it's going to be, but we're not telling people what it's going to be, but it's going to be cool. And then they'll be the featured speaker next year. So it's like, here's the Gateway to Freedom 2024 featuring TJ Cremeans or whoever else it's going to be. So push those ticket sales. No, but thanks.
I wonder, should I just buy a bunch of them in my name, like an author, and then just like give them to people?
Yeah, have drawings. Why not?
Perfect.
Oh man, awesome! Thanks so much for coming, buddy. I appreciate it.
For sure, brother. Thanks for having me.
Take care. You too, buddy.
Bye.